wet and rainy night, about 55 degrees and perfect weather for soccer, right, Brent?
Oh, absolutely. I talked to the kids down on the field just a few minutes ago, and they were all making comments how their best times of playing soccer are in the rain. So, and it's not that often that you get rain without lightning, so they're pretty happy tonight.
Well, let me tell you, fellas, it's a good thing it's on artificial turf. That's one good thing, or we would have a mud bowl out there.
Absolutely. And, of course, rain can be an equalizer at times. It can change the game a little bit, can change the terms of the game. And, of course, you want the best team to win, and you see that in football, American football as well, where rain can change the outcome of a game, and that all the more happens on regular grass, where it's the grass starts to get torn up and it gets muddy. And here we got artificial turf, so we're not going to have that problem tonight.
Well, Dr. Roger Brick, it's good to have you along. I told somebody today I was going to do, you've heard of Godfather's Pizza. Well, I was going to do the game with the Godfather of soccer, and Dr. Roger Brick is here. Isn't that right, Brent Klein?
Oh, I totally agree. He's got a soccer field in his yard, and I will say that he has been very gracious to let us use that field throughout the year in the off season, and he takes care of it, maintains it. Honestly, we don't help very much. Every once in a while he'll call and ask for a little help, but thank you to Roger Brick for his love of soccer and really getting the game of soccer going in Chillicothe, Missouri. And that's where these kids came from, was during Roger Brick's reign at Green Hills. And what a great team that it has produced.
Well, I thought, along with this too, all the parents that coached on this team, Brent Klein, Kenny Totebush, Tammy Graves,
Kevin Murray. Yeah, there's a lot of parents that did help coaching all those years. Amy.
Amy Clark?
Amy Clark. Yes, absolutely. So.
Well, Dr. Brick, you've probably seen more soccer than, I know you've seen more than I, but more than any of us here in the booth. But it's good to have you up here and to have a little insight into this game. Earlier this year at Chillicothe, the Hornets defeated LeBron 2-1. That was back on September 30th. I think it's going to be tight tonight regardless of the weather.
I think it'll be very, very tough. And they had a stretch of really tight games there for a while. The next game that they played St. Paul Lutheran of Concordia, and that was the overtime loss.
Yes.
It was the tied out twice.
Double overtime and penalty kicks, yes.
And so, it was a great thing. Of course, they had a 6'6" goalie, I guess. Maybe 6'7".
He was a big guy. So,
well, speaking of goalies, I am just so proud of our sophomore goalie out here, Trey Beatty. He's hung in here and had 7 shutouts this year, along with a good, strong defense.
Very aggressive goalie. He's not afraid to leap and dive and do whatever it takes to keep that ball from going in the hole.
Well, the one good thing offensively, guys, is that according to Coach Tim Cunningham, the most goals scored in a single season ever by a Chillicothe High School soccer team. I think this is the 8th year. Am I right? It's 7th or 8th. I think it's the 8th.
I'm not sure, but I do think it is the 8th.
8th year, yes.
But there's been a lot of games in interviewing Coach Cunningham each week that were 7-0 or 9-1 or what. That's a little unusual in soccer because you look for the 1-0s, the 2-1s, the 3-2s, right?
Well, yes and no. It depends on the quality of your opponent. But I've just noticed a steady upward climb on the quality of this boys' team. This is just outstanding.
17-2-1 coming into tonight. That's also a school record that they hope to add to tonight, and then again on Thursday night when they play in the championship. See, I already got them there, guys.
Yeah.
How about that? Don't tell Coach Cunningham, all right?
We better knock on some wood here, right?
Well, we want to talk a little bit about some of these guys, too, and you can help me because these are the projected starters, Dr. Brick, and you were talking about Trey a while ago. He's a sophomore. That's a good thing. Being the keeper, being a sophomore. You all mentioned Brandon Murray, a junior, as a defender. Ulysses Rojas, a defender, senior. Trent Moore, a senior and defender. And Nate McKitty, a sophomore, who's out for soccer for the first time. Pick up on some of the rest of those guys, Doc.
Well, I was going to just go on the back line a little bit. They play 4 players on the back, but they use Brandon as a sweeper in the back. And
That's right.
He is just like a vacuum cleaner there. He doesn't let anything by. He's quick. He's fast. He's got a wonderful kick out. We also have a first-year player on the back, Trent Moore, who's a senior that came out this year, and he's been like a rock there. He has been solid. He's a cool, calm, and collected.
First-year player. Very strong in the legs and very, very wise to sports in general.
Ulysses has been working really hard on his game, and he has got quite a bit faster, and he has really taken a leadership role in this year's team. And then we got Nate McKinney back there as a sophomore, and he is just an athletic kid. He's just wonderful to watch, and he's exciting. Occasionally, Coach Sue gets him moving on up top, and I think you know,
He's a very smart player, and I would attribute to it. Seems like a lot of kids who are out for basketball tend to do well in soccer because they understand the English.
You know, before we go any further, I want to remind people this is being live streamed tonight on www.1059thewave.com. And Jim Bly is the man that makes all of that possible, and also coming to you live on the Wave 105.9. Back to you, Doc.
Okay, in the midfield, we also have 4 players. Cal Todebish, who's a junior, Dylan Clark, a junior, Alan Klein, a senior, and Derek Hussey, a junior. And all these are alumni of Green Hill Soccer Club.
Yes.
And it's nice to see that happen. And they seem to be just like a fine-oiled machine. They're working together. They're supporting each other. And the midfield is what connects the defenders and the offensive players.
They often say you don't want to have to win a game defensively in soccer. You want to win it in the midfield. If you can avoid that ball getting to the defense very often, that's a great thing.
And, you know, I think another thing about this ball club, and this according to Coach Cunningham, as the season's progressed, the chemistry has grown. And there's great chemistry on this team, and he'll tell you that. And that's highly important in any sport.
Hey, it's a little bit more unusual in boys' teams, but what I have watched for the last 8 years with this is the most unselfish team. They will bring the ball down. They will pass
that
it.
out, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
It's just I personally have a preference to the women's game to watch because they call that the beautiful game. But this high school boys team this year plays wonderful, beautiful soccer. They play a lot of possession.
Right.
They short, quick passes, balls into space, overlapping runs. It's just a joy to watch.
You know, Dr. Brick studies the game of soccer, and so when I need a little bit of help in the off season with what to tell the boys, I'll email him once in a while and I'll say, Doc, what do you think we need to be working on? And he said, you can never work too much on first touch passing and off the ball movement. So in the off season, trust me, those are things that those boys have worked on, and you can see it out here right as we speak. You can see how selfishly they play, and overlapping runs, and they take the ball wide with nice short passes. They play a possession game is what they do. They keep the ball in possession. They don't do big kicks typically. They just keep the ball moving from one to the other as quickly as possible.
And let me ask you this, Brent. Why wouldn't Dr. Roger Brick think a little bit more about girls soccer? Did he have a couple that played?
Yes, I was going to mention that too. Meredith and Madeline, a couple of girls that played, and both have played at the college level as well.
Go ahead. Go back to your little roundup there. Well, I'll tell you, before we do that, real quick, we need to get in 60 seconds worth of spots, and then we'll be back to Dr. Roger Brick to comment more about tonight's district battle here at Camden, Missouri, Dave Goodwin Field, where the Hornets and St. Joe LeBlanc collide for the second time. Back in 60 seconds with more. Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. And, Doctor, back to you. Dr. Roger Brick.
We have two more players to talk about that's pretty important on the starting lineup, and that's our forwards, which is John Klein, a junior, and Stephen Cooper, a senior. Between them, both they have scored 49 goals this year, and then what's also they have 23 assists between them.
That's awesome.
They're a different kind of player. John is a control player. He can turn on a dime. He can pull the trigger really quick on the ball. And Stephen is a power player, and he has a heck of a kick, both left and right foot. And he has a slashing diagonal run, and John picks him out, or Alan picks him out, or Derek, or whatever. And it's just a very, very good combination up front. Coach C's very, very lucky.
Yes, one of the things we talked about with Cooper the last time we aired a game was that he enjoys bringing the player in shoulder to shoulder. He brings them in close because what he knows he's going to do, and he plans it, is he's going to beat them with power. If a player challenges him too tight, he is going to explode, he's going to knock him off the ball, and he's going to win that battle. And that's just part of his strategy. Most players don't want to let a defender that close to him, but that's Stephen Cooper has the power and the speed to do it.
Well, we again want to thank our fine sponsors who are making all of this possible tonight. The live streaming and direct broadcast on the wave, 105.9. Trenton Coca-Cola, Golden Corral, Hutchison Insurance Company, BTC Bank, Toda Bush Farms, Mel Gregg Insurance, Woody's Automotive Group, Clark's Furniture, Citizens Bank and Trust, Lee Beatty Construction, Chillicothe Booster Club, Constitution Tribune, Woody's Outdoor Powered Equipment, and Investors National Bank. Thanks, guys. And I want to tell you, I was just telling Brent and Dr. Brick, look across the wayside at the other side here at Cameron, and this is the artificial turf, but there's some very, very good dedicated fans over there.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting drenched.
yes. And I look over there and see a lot of red huddled together there, red or black. And, you can never give the parents too much credit. One person that came to my mind after we talked about all the coaching that went on over the years, and that's Robin Hussey. And, of course, Derek Hussey is a midfielder, and she coached with Amy Clark on many a team. And what a great job they did together. So,
well, not only that, Robin's daughter, Sarah, was a very good soccer player, too. That was a real contributor. And she's down at Central Methodist, but she is there on a dance scholarship.
Dance scholarship, yeah, that's right.
Well, the captain, tri-captains, four captains representing both schools, and they're well familiar with each other down here. Just getting ready for the first 40 minutes of action, coming to you live from Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. And the winner advances on to Thursday night, where they'll take on St. Pius. And I will tell you that if that's Chillicothe, the Wave will be back live streaming and live on 105.9. And we'll be joined, maybe, I know, by Dr. Roger Brick again and Brent Klein. And right now, Colby is going to be back with us too, and he's the one that can put the call on soccer. But I'll tell you, we're going to try to get you through all of this and tell you what's going on here at Dave Goodwin Field tonight. And I've got the pros. See, I've got Brent Klein that played it and now has a couple of sons playing. I've got Dr. Roger Brick, the godfather of soccer in Livingston County, Grundy, and Lynn County. And, I got Jim Bly live streaming all this. So I'm in great shape, guys.
You're in good shape. I do have to correct. I did not play soccer. However, I have played it over the last.
Coached it is what I meant to say. I've not played it. No, you were too busy driving hot rods.
But I did coach it over the last. Since my kids were, what was it? 4? Were they 4 when they go out for soccer?
Yeah.
So since they were 4, but I have had the opportunity to play the game, and that's pretty exciting. I've actually gone to St. Joe and played in a league there, and you start to get a real feel for the game of soccer, because that
would be the good way to do it.
Grow up. None of us grew up with a culture of soccer, so getting to know the game is a little tough.
Well, the other thing that's neat about Brent here is he brings his company out for a picnic or a wellness activity, and he gets a lot of people introduced to soccer that have never played before.
For several years, even before coaching the kids, the adult, or I guess the high school kids in the off season. We did do a lot of Sunday soccer. Adults would get together and with the kids and play soccer, and it was a fun experience, and hopefully that got people more enthused about the game of soccer. Well, here we are. It's raining out, and the rain has picked up.
Wind out of the south, and
Yes.
but the nice thing about it, we're inside in a booth, and it's still around 59, 58 degrees.
Yes, yep, and it looks like both teams are kind of
Introduced right
being
now below
introduced.
us.
Yep, they're being introduced right now. Not something that we can hear at the moment because they aren't doing it in the middle of the field like they usually do. A lot of times they'll walk out in the middle of the field and introduce them, but
And the PA's not carrying over here, by the way. But I do want to quickly tell you, if you're not a member of the Chillicothe Booster Club, I hope that you'll do so soon. They have the Spirit Booster Club memberships for $100, the Stinger Booster Club memberships for $50, and the Red and Black Booster Club members for $25. We want to thank Andrea Graves, the Chillicothe Booster Club and its officers, and all of its supporters for being one of the big sponsors here of high school soccer from Cameron, Missouri.
okay, so the field here goes, yes, a big thank you to them. The field goes north and south here. We don't know which direction that we're going yet. They will be picking that shortly. The Hornets like to do the wind in the face the first half. We'll see if they go that direction here tonight. And so when we're calling the game, when Doc and Mayor Chuck Haney are calling the game, I'm actually going to leave the press box after the game, slightly after the game starts, and go out and cheer with the fans. I can't hardly take not getting out there and cheering with the fans.
And
but,
you should.
But as the team is, if our team were to head, for example, north, then we'll be talking about a right wing and a left wing, and so the right wing would be on the far side of the field from us. So the right wing would be to the east side of the field if we're going north. So you guys can pick that up a little bit later. So now they are coming to the middle of the field now.
Well,
Yep.
if you happen to be listening to this on the radio, you might turn on your computer to 105.com.
1059thewave.com.
Because then you'll be able to see what we're talking about.
Okay, so it looks like they introduced them from the sidelines. Now both teams have walked out together, and it sounds like they're just giving them a chance to cheer for both teams. I don't. It's the coin flip. They're shaking hands, and
this
I
is
like
a
that.
traditional district.
for district. Okay,
Yes.
this is the way they do it for district. Well, that's
So that's I didn't see district last year, and as we said at the start, Chillicothe did well in district and met LeBlanc last year in district, and so they're very familiar, and we're going to see what happens. The wind is still out of the south. The rain has slowed a little bit, but we're on artificial turf, so we're going to watch the action and try to do our best to tell you what's going on here between that and the camera work of Jim Bly.
okay. Chillicothe is they are starting on the south side of the field, so they will have the wind at their back. I am assuming that means that LeBlanc did win the toss.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the flags on the goalpost, they're kind of going to the east a
Yes,
little
it's
bit.
kind of,
too.
yeah, I guess it is a
That's
southwest wind. And now LeBlanc knocked us out of districts 2 years ago, so they have been our nemesis for quite some time, and so we'll hope that we can make up for that here tonight. Just a few minutes away,
go
just a
ahead.
few seconds away from kickoff. Looks like Chillicothe is kicking the ball off first.
All right, we're just about ready and set to go for the first 40 minutes. And boy, this is big because this is for all the marbles. The winner goes on and the loser comes home. And here we go.
Here we go. Okay, Chillicothe fields the ball back and back to midfield and
Out of bounds.
out of bounds on Chillicothe. It looks like it's going to be a LeBlanc throw-in.
The normal chess game of soccer, the first 10 or 15 minutes, each team tries to feel each other out to
Yes.
find out what's going on here, see where their weaknesses are, and come up.
Got a
Yeah.
foul on LeBlanc there. Looks like LeBlanc fouled John Klein at midfield, and so Chillicothe gets a free kick at midfield. Not a very threatening place to make a foul, but that's sometimes that's done with strategy.
But look at that kick from Brandon Million. It was landed right on the 18. So we had players in there.
Cross to John Klein.
Dylan Clark on the left wing. Coming back to Ulysses.
LaPlante.
And the ball's turned over.
Okay, Brent Klein cutting out here. I got to go holler for the team. I will come back up and talk with you guys in a little bit.
Good kick there, and back this way it comes, Dr. Brick. So, you know, a lot of the action's been right here in the middle of the field.
In soccer, that's the way that it usually happens for the first get-go here, especially with evenly balanced teams.
As you said, they're going to kind of play on each other and see what's going to happen here and what's going on and who can do what, right? That ball over to John Klein over here at the boundary line near the 30.
Those are called touch lines on a soccer pitch.
Okay, and I thought the rain had quit, and I look outside the window, and it's still coming down pretty good.
Really hard, yes.
Yeah, they're going to be drenched by the time this puppy's over. All right, it's going back to Chillicothe. They'll do the kick. And we have a
foul on him, and the player that was fouled was Alan Klein.
Alan, the defensive midfielder, one of the seniors on this team.
Ooh.
So
when we won a corner, that ball was rebounded off the head of a LeBlanc player, and so here's the first set play coming in. Dylan Clark is getting ready to take it on the left corner, and he'll loft the ball to the mid portion of the goal. They try to drop it in right on the penalty spot.
An opportunity, right, Doc?
Yes. A little low kick. We see how that goes. It's a goal kick out for LeBlanc.
Well, it's those that you hope that you can capitalize on, right?
Actually, about 35% of all goals are scored on set plays, either from a corner kick or a free kick.
Came right up and kicked that out right from under him, did he not?
Yes, but it's a Chillicothe throw on the far side.
That's
we're going to have to get some windshield wipers on these booth windows here.
Maybe we can do that.
I'm sure Jim's having a tough time keeping the rain off his camera lens.
LeBlanc now.
Had a nice clearance out from her. I think it was Trent Moore
that got it out of there too. Oh, that was something right there. Mm-hmm. Right off of his chest.
Yeah.
Flag. Pick us up. What was that called, Doc?
Well, actually, it was just a hold. The signals for soccer is a little bit different, and the holding is actually the same as football and the other. Kind of mishandled there a little bit by one of our players, and then he quickly recovered and
out of bounds.
That's one thing we see with this team is they cover for each other. That's the fun thing about watching this team.
And I guess that was Stephen Cooper, another one of the seniors. Of course, Cooper is a forward. Where's number 10? And for those watching it on TV, go ahead, Doc.
He's got it run down the line. The assistant referee called a foul, but the center didn't honor it. Now it's coming back to about the 30-yard line, which you have to add 10 to the goal on a soccer field. And a low kick in, but a slow dribbling kick.
My.
The thing about tonight's game with a wet ball and a wet field, if the kicks go in low on the goalkeeper, that's really tough to handle. They bounce and they skid. But it's a goal kick out for LeBlanc. And mishandled by a LeBlanc player, and it's a throw in for Chillicothe on the left sideline. Dylan Clark's got it. He's got a nice long throw, and it's going to go almost into the penalty box. And another clearance out, big clearance out by LeBlanc. Ooh, and he just kicked that ball. That's usually good for a yellow card.
Yeah, and that was out of bounds. Ooh.
Oh. Heads up play by Derek Hussey. And that's one player that we didn't talk about too much on the scoring, but he is the third leading scorer.
He's an attacking midfielder. He's a junior. And that was a big play.
Actually, that was Stephen Cooper.
Okay. We talked about Stephen a while ago.
Mm-hmm. And Coach C likes to run the ball through the midfield through either Derek or Allen, and they have a lot of assists and actually get on in and play on the scoring play. A quick steal by Allen, no foul, and a steal by John. And LeBlanc has to just kick it out to slow play down.
And that's what they did, and out of bounds. So
and he's kind of shielded there. It's going to be a goal kick by LeBlanc coming out.
Clark heading down there. And, it will be LeBlanc's kick. Probably going to play this throughout, at least so far through the first. Well, we're at 31:39 on the clock. A lot of rain.
I think
that call.
No, I think Allen has some blood on his elbow here, and that's one of the rules in soccer. When they have blood on them, they have to leave the field to get that taken care of and covered. It is a timeout, though. All the players off.
So,
good. It's not a substitution.
That's what I thought.
No, okay, he subbed him out. And who came in?
That's Rojas here. I don't know. I'm looking around to see.
Oh, Lane Bonder, number 6, came in. Lane must talk to his mother tonight. He's the only one wearing a stocking cap out there.
Well, he's smart, I'll tell you that. The only one on either team. Really.
He has really stepped up as a player this year. He's really matured. He's always been a good, aggressive player, but he's finally figured out how to play at high school level.
A good block.
We're getting excellent, aggressive, defensive play out of our two forwards up top, and that's another outstanding attribute of these two boys, Stephen Cooper and John Klein. They really play the defense on the top end.
That was John Klein right there.
Yes, number 7.
Gonna have to get it out of there.
Ball headed out. Here's actually the first save that Trey has. He played that wonderful. He got down, made his body big, and blocked it. Now his kick comes out, and it's coming clear to the press box here.
Right underneath us. We're right here at Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. Chillicothe and St. Joe LeBlanc, 29:35 on the clock, and no score. Back down to the south end. And you're right, we need windshield wipers. I couldn't find that, couldn't even find the ball.
Trey's still not sure enough of his kicks off the ground, so he usually calls one of the defensive players back in to take that out. His punt's been really good.
I noticed that, yeah.
And I think I've been out to practice several times and watch him work on it, and he is really, oh my, Brandon, for a small fella, he can really kick that ball. Okay, here comes Alan Klein back in, and Lane Bonder out. Dylan switches back over to his normal left midfield position, and Alan in the middle. I think it's fun to watch Dylan Clark play. He's just tall, big, and lanky, and he looks like he's not running very fast, but man, when you have lines on the field, you can see how much ground he can eat up pretty quick.
Nice thing about it, too, Doc, is he's a junior.
Yes. His brother was on last year's team, one of the seniors that graduated, Lane, and he was really fast.
Well, and boy, that's really important. It's key, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting. I've noticed that the siblings seem to raise their level of play up. I guess that's because they have to beat their brothers, I guess, or sisters in my case. There's the first substitution for LeBlanc coming in. In high school soccer, you have unlimited substitution. You can handball, and it was called on the other side. Played it off his chest. But in college soccer, now, if you're substituted out in the first half, you can't go back in the first half. And then in the second half, you have unlimited substitution. Good ball in, and
so there's actually just been 2 substitutions in the game, right, so far?
Yes,
one each.
Coach Cunningham doesn't substitute too much right now. His bench is getting stronger, but it's been what he's been really working on hard this season. And it's really nice that they've had a JV squad that's played a lot of games.
That helps. Well, and he said they wanted to, defensively, they wanted to keep the ball out of the middle and force the opponents to the outside of the field. There's been several occasions where they've done that already.
Well, the outside of the field becomes another player. You know that they can't go any farther that direction. It limits their options. Yep, and there, no foul. This game looks like it's been well officiated so far.
Yes, and you know, we were talking about that earlier, and I said something about, well, you know, that the further you go through postseason play, the officiating should get better, and it does.
Well, we have a ex-referee in the next booth over here, and we're going to ask him on these official calls to see what he says. Because Brent's not here. Normally you get Brent's opinion if he if it's a bad call.
Well, would that be biased?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I want to tell you, to watch a game from up here or the stands is so much different than to be down on the field or on the sideline.
And, well, you get that good view, Doc, right?
Well, it's a lot easier to officiate up here.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. And at Chillicothe, you get one whale of a view.
I want to tell you, both of That's getting persistent on Allen there. Allen is probably the most fouled player on the Chillicothe team because he is so active and teams really key on him.
Well, and a little bit of that has to do with the fact that he's a veteran and they know him. Still, it's just a light kind of a puddly rain, but it hasn't affected play any at all.
It's not too light, Chuck.
Oh no, I see that now. Well, it was a while ago. It keeps changing, Doc.
Yeah.
We need the windshield wipers again. But a lot of strength at midfield.
The LeBron's in there scoring attack, and a wonderful save from Trey Beatty.
That was fantastic.
He is just so athletic.
Hats off to Trey Beatty on that one because that was heading to a 1-0 lead, was it not, Doc?
It certainly was. It was a strong kick.
We're with Dr. Roger Brick here at Dave Goodwin Field at Camden, Missouri, and it's semifinal round in the district soccer. It's St. Joe LeBlanc and Chillicothe, and we're 0-0 with 23:12 remaining in the first half.
Okay, we've got a substitution coming in for LeBlanc. It's a corner kick on the far side coming in, kind of against the wind. We'll see. A lofted ball coming in on the penalty spot, and it's bounced around and kicked out here.
We're going to get
Chillicothe recovered well.
They really did.
Yeah.
We're going to get some action, and then it's out of bounds. I looked off to the left. They go out on Chillicothe or LeBlanc, Doc?
Chillicothe.
Okay. They're right about midfield.
No, he was saying it. No, Chillicothe.
Okay.
That call may have been overruled by the center. I didn't catch that.
Now,
this has just been a pretty tough game so far as contact there. Both these teams are kind of going at each other as hard as they can legally.
well, and like I said earlier, this is for all the marbles. The winner goes on, the loser goes home. There is no tomorrow. About the time I said we were at midfield and Chillicothe's end a lot, we've kind of switched that. Going down the sideline. I thought that one was going out of bounds, and I'm blocked out, Doc. I'm not sure where they are down there in the corner somewhere.
Oh, it is out of bounds. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Would you just use these, please? Oh, that was a nice diving header. If that had been on frame, it'd been a lot different.
Wow, that's twice down there in about the last 3 minutes, Doc.
I know that's soccer.
Get that puppy out of there.
Yeah.
Let's go the other direction. Chillicothe, of course, defending the South Gold and going right into the wind, and LeBlanc going north, or from the right to the left as we look at them. But an indication about how soccer is picked up, you look across the way, and that's a pretty good crowd on a horrible night.
It certainly is. Yeah.
There went. What did he signal, Doc?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Steve here. I think maybe he was shaking the rain off his arms.
No call, just shaking the rain off his arms. That's where some of the speed, if you get out in front and get going and can get a little lead, really comes in handy.
Well, on soccer, the ball will travel faster than the player, so
Well, that's right.
the passes are always usually a better go than a dribbler. But you have to beat the player on a dribble. This LeBlanc team is certainly not giving our players a chance to turn on the ball or anything else. And I don't know how many fouls have been called here. Yeah, he's looks like he's.
So that'll be.
At some point, it's got to start being persistent infringement. But
wow, it's a pretty good kick.
oh, nice play by Cooper.
Oh,
Nice in. Play off John Klein. Ball's coming back. They're just. Oh, a good ball in. Oh, right. Oh.
They had something, I think, they thought going there for a minute, Doc.
Well, it's interesting with soccer. Sometimes it's not an outstanding play that wins offside, Stephen Cooper. But it may be just a defensive mistake that makes a difference.
He stepped out of bounds. I guess, is it the ball or him?
No. The ball has to go completely over the line.
Okay, it wasn't. He did, but the ball didn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just get rid of it. And that's what he did. Got another, well, that's just a switch of who was in there a while ago. I can tell by the tennis shoes, Doc. They stand out, those psychedelic orange shoes.
I've got mixed emotions about those real bright shoes. I don't know whether or not that it allows other players to key on them pretty quick. They don't have to look and see exactly who they are. They just look down and see the shoes.
You know, this, well, I'll reserve that comment a minute. Started to say something. 16:51 left in the first half. No score here at Cameron at Dave Goodwin Field. Chillicothe and St. Joseph LeBlanc. You can pick it up on the Wave TV 1059thewave.com. 1059thewave.com. That's www.
A good ball in, long ball. Cooper stays onside. He's
Yes, goal! And that comes with 16:23. And the Chillicothe fans loved it.
and that was a real team goal. There was 4 passes to get that ball in. It started with a long ball over the top to Stephen Cooper, and he handled it well. And he kicked it back, put it right in front of the goal, and I still didn't see who got the goal.
I didn't either. We need replay, Doc. There was a bunch of them down there right in front of the net.
Well, that's the other thing that I've noticed on this team. Boy, they have flood the attacking lanes into there. We have plenty of players.
Well, I'll bet you Brent Klein can tell us who got the goal. What do you want to bet at halftime?
Well, we hope.
Intermission. Came with 16:23 to go, and Chillicothe now leads St. Joe LeBlanc 1-0.
In some soccer games, a score changes the offensive and defensive strategies, but in this game, I don't think it'll be any different. I think they're going to just both go full bore.
Well, knowing how they played earlier, and not much has changed, and knowing these two teams, I'd say you're 100% correct.
Well, this Chillicothe team doesn't play as well when they're just trying not to score. There's been a couple of games that I've watched that the game got out of hand. They just kept it.
Was he tripped or did he fall?
No, he
fell on his own.
Well, No foul, anyway.
Maybe sort of, kind of. Huh?
Yeah. But when they're just trying to maintain a momentum in the game and not try to score, see that
Now, surely that's a penalty.
no.
Okay.
I mean, the referee has had a quiet word with the offender there, and I would just assume at some point in time that the yellow card is going to come out to get back in control of the game here.
Well, he's up, and I thought he was a little gimpy there, but he's okay.
You can never tell about Allen. He's kind of gimpy a lot of the time.
Well, that's true.
He gets knocked around so much. He's got a lot of heart and guts, and he just keeps playing hard.
He skipped right on out there, though,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, we're down to 14-17 here, and whistle sound. Fill us in, Doc.
It looks like a foul on LeBlanc, and we have a free kick from about the 50 here.
Brandon Murray,
Where is it?
push out. Get him out of there.
Oh, he's the referee's pointing up to the line. Then okay, I see now. The ball boys are kind of getting slower on this.
There you go.
That's out.
A lot of times they just throw it right down the line. If the defensive player kicks it out, it just moves it that much closer to the goal. A lofting ball in, but it was behind the goal.
Yeah, you know,
Who was that? Derek? No.
looking at those banners, too, it looks like the wind occasionally picks up or is gusting a little bit, and it is out of the southwest.
Well, I think the flags are just waterlogged.
Well, maybe they are. Well, you know, it was raining when we arrived here in the first half of the first game, and it hasn't stopped much since.
I was really grateful when Brent asked me to do this because I wanted to come watch it anyway, and I saw the forecast, and I knew I'd be in a nice dry box here to watch it.
It makes a difference. I told my family, they said, don't you be out there in it with that cold you got. So I'm glad we're up here where it's nice and dry. A couple of substitutions for LeBlanc now. So
Usually Coach C will not make too many substitutions in the first half.
I'd like to say, I'm impressed with the amount of Chillicothe High School students that are here tonight.
well, I'm impressed with the crowd in general, Jim Bly.
How do you tell they're students underneath those umbrellas?
Well, I can see some red over there. Well, he put the binocs on them.
Oh,
I'll check him out. But, you know, that is we brought quite a few fans because that's a lot bigger crowd than when you and I arrived over here, Doc. Lots of umbrellas. I see some of those red and black ones. That's a good indication. Yeah, I asked, somebody asked today, and I said, well, the only thing that would stop it would be lightning. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Just like football, baseball. Oh, there's a chance. Wow.
Oh,
Wow. I'm not sure who that was. Did you get a view of that?
Dylan Clark had a kick in. What's happening here?
Well, lots of whistles. I know that. Said something. Give it a warning? I don't know.
He's gone. Did he get a red card?
What do we got?
I don't know. Is that Trent Moore?
No, that was our player. I mean, their player. Our referee in residence here said that the referee gave him a verbal warning and a cooling off period on the sideline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was theirs. I had Rojas and Moore watching them on my mind. We're down to 10:48, and we're down at LeBlanc's end of the field right now. Had a chance right in the middle, and boy, it went over to the far side. That's good.
Did Trey get a touch on that?
No, he didn't.
Yeah. We're looking through rain and 4 layers of glass and
the glass, it kind of is a little dirty and a little foggy, and then it drips.
yeah.
But again, Doc, it's better up here than out there.
The only other place that may be better is at home watching on your computer.
There you are. There you are.
That's for those high-tech people, their TV with their computer updates.
Yeah, there you go. Now, actually, by official rules, are supposed to be 4 ball boys, the ones that throw the ball back in. It looks like we have 1 on the other side.
I think they just got 2 total, don't they?
Yeah, that may be due to the rainy weather, but you'd be surprised on the effect that has on getting the ball back in on a home team. Of course, here there's nobody that's a
Home team, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we are the home team on the scoreboard, but I hear what you're saying. I think they're all going to, in about 9 minutes, welcome the break.
You know, they may not. They don't. There's no dry place for them to go.
Well,
here.
that's true. Back up and to the dressing room area.
Oh,
wow.
A great play. Great play by Trey. Came out hard, and then he had wonderful backup play by defenders coming in. And that goes out for a corner kick.
That was a great save, was it not?
It was.
Wow. I mean, they were right there knocking on the net. What happened there?
Probably a little pushing and jostling in the box here.
The ball went in the net, but he blew the whistle before that happened.
Yeah.
Again.
An extra ball on the field? Oh.
Well, just need one to play with, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And another good save by Trey.
Yes,
but that ball is wet and bouncing around down there. And,
right at the corner.
Yeah. Players are creating that chaos in the box. Yeah. And that needs to be a card.
Yeah.
Man, he's swept.
That was Cooper came up.
Yeah.
Is that what, I think that's what he's talking about, isn't he?
I was just asking the call.
Oh, wow.
A good ball in, a cross, but our runners were just in the wrong position.
Yep. That you could almost see that wasn't going to happen, right?
Well, the ball was a little deep at that point.
That was at Chillicothe's end, and they lead it 1-0 here at Dave Goodwin Field with 7 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first half against St. Joe LeBlanc in a steady rain with a good wind out of the southwest. But a great crowd on hand here at Dave Goodwin Field at Camden, Missouri on this rainy, drizzly, foggy night. That's a good way to describe it, right, Doc?
It certainly is.
I keep thinking that's LeBlanc to our left and Chillicothe's to our right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ball comes in, it goes harmlessly through the box and out for a goal kick.
I like it more when it's at midfield or down to my left, Doc.
Yeah.
I get nervous when it gets down to the right. Well, yeah, as we said, we expected a tight game, and we got somebody injured down there for LeBlanc. I think they're going to have to call time. Yeah, I think he's hurt. He couldn't get up. I don't know where he got it. Now he is down. I can't get a number right now. I thought I was going to have one there before he turned around.
One of the other interesting things with high school soccer is they do stop the clock. In college soccer and professional soccer, they don't, and the referee adds on time at the end of the half.
Now, and if you're injured, do you have to come out? Is that right?
If they call the coach in.
Okay, and there goes the substitute in for LeBlanc, number 2. I don't know what happened. I saw him before it happened there, as I described it to you. I said he was injured. Then the official walked up to him and called time and blew the whistle. Boy, get that thing out of there. That's right down in the corner. You know, St. Pius really had it pretty easy in the opener. When I got here, they were ahead 5-0.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah, but they're a pretty good team and top seed. And, actually, Maryville was playing pretty well that second half. They only allowed one in. But
yeah, they played a lot better. I don't know when they got the 5, but apparently early on.
okay, here's a free kick opportunity for LeBlanc coming in on about the 25-yard line. Ball comes in low and is blocked by one of our players and goes out of bounds.
And the rain continues to fall here at Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri.
Okay, it's a foot race between 6 and he on
It's out of
LeBlanc's
bounds.
team, and he kicked it out of bounds.
So we'll get the ball, right?
Yes, we're throwing deep. I'm sure Dylan Clark's going to go down there. And he has a nice long throw in. It'll go into the box, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, you're some of the little things you've described are important. They may not seem very important, but those little things do build up in this game, right?
Yes, yep. It's a nice flick on head by Cooper into the middle. Corner by Dylan Clark. He's going to probably loft it in. I don't know what
You know what, Doc?
set play they have.
Another goal would be super. You know that?
Well, yes.
Another goal right now would just be super.
Excellent ball in and another corner on the opposite side. And who's taking them on the opposite side? Is that Hussey? Who's the player?
Yeah, I couldn't see that either, so. Oh, that's a little high. Ooh.
They call high kick, dangerous play.
Okay, so explain that one for
Well,
our
the player's foot came up high enough that it was termed dangerous play.
Okay.
As long as there's no other player around, they can kick it as high as they want. But when there's a player that's in danger of being
and that's
kicked,
probably a pretty good rule, is it not?
well, yeah, there's a lot of injuries with head injuries with soccer from getting kicked, and
I'll tell you, we want to thank Lee Beatty Construction, Investors National Bank, Woody's Outdoor Power and Equipment, the Constitution Tribune, Chillicothe Booster Club. Oh, hold on a minute here, Doc.
it's a throw in from LeBlanc, short throw, and we kicked it back out. So have them do it again.
Others helping bring this broadcast to you, both on the Wave TV and live on 105.9. And I'll hold on just a minute here because we're down right in the thick of action here with about 2:19 left.
Have a good clearance out. Athletic
Like I
maneuver
said,
by Alan Klein to get the ball going.
Now we got a
now it's a
foot
foot race and jump.
and lost that one and out of bounds, but we'll have the ball, will we not?
Well, the rule down there, especially when you're outnumbered, is if in doubt, kick it out. And that allows your teammates
Pretty
to
good
come back
rule.
and defend.
If in doubt, kick it out, and there you go. Trenton Coca-Cola, Golden Corral, Hutchison Company Insurance, BTC Bank, Toda Bush Farms, Mel Gregg Grand River Insurance, Woody's Automotive, and Clark's Furniture. All proud sponsors of Chillicothe High School soccer here from Dave Goodwin Field in Cameron. That one is down in the corner.
Corner kick again. 1:23 left. and the ball comes in.
Again, I told you, I would love to see one put in there. That would be huge.
Another corner on the far side.
Well, let's just keep it right there for about another minute, right? Or less.
Well, there's no real hurry right now. You want to take all the time the referee's going to let you.
And they are taking, and you're exactly right, and that's what they're doing. Right on.
Oh, it's a good ball in.
Oh.
Excellent, excellent. But I don't think anybody touched it, so it's a LeBlanc throw.
Wouldn't that have been good if
their
that
defensive
stepped
end.
into the corner of the net there? I was pushing, Doc. I was pushing. So down to 34 seconds now.
Yeah, LeBlanc just wants to get out of this without anything happening here. They're taking their time, making a substitution.
And probably wise with 24 seconds left because it's down at this end. Now we're going to midfield and down towards the LeBlanc goal.
A nice slide tackle by Brandon Murray. He's fouled and bounced back, and then he outstanding athletic play.
Now, the official was pointing down to the south with, and that's it. We're at halftime, and Chillicothe leads St. Joe LeBlanc 1-0 here at Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. It's Dr. Roger Brick, and I'm Chuck Haney, and I want to take a moment here to pass along an announcement from the Missouri State High School Activities Association, and then we'll take about a 60-second break. Fans, when you attend a high school game, do you stand at attention during the national anthem? Do you cheer a good play by the opposing team? If your team loses, do you take it well in stride? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you are showing positive examples of sportsmanship. Don't forget that when you attend a high school event, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior by making a conscious effort. You'll be helping our students grow into better citizens. This message was brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and the Wave Radio 105.9, and Jim Bly with WHB TV here to live stream the action here tonight from from a wet Dave Goodwin Field, but a artificial turf has came to the rescue again, and we're along with Dr. Roger Brick, and earlier we had Brent Klein, and he'll be back. But right now we're going to pause 60 seconds for a word from our fine sponsors. I did that, Doc.
Yeah.
Give it all. Give you a
Hey, thank goodness for Doc. That's all I can tell you.
I'm just so happy that it's dry.
Yeah.
Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. It's 1-0 at halftime. Chillicothe leads St. Joe LeBlanc, and I'm with Dr. Roger Brick, and also joining us in the booth now to get dry is Brent Klein. Brent, I want an unbiased assessment of the first half.
Okay, with two
Because I've heard Dr. Brick.
with two boys on the team, it may be difficult to be unbiased, and you might be able to tell my voice has changed a little bit since.
I have. You've been yelling.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough now, but I said before the game started that rain is an equalizer, and I really feel that Chillicothe is the more dominant, the better team. A couple of things about Chillicothe. I feel they're playing just a little bit nervous. Times that I would normally see them overlap on a run, they're sending it up the middle, and that really isn't normally how they play. They normally, if somebody gets it on the wing, normally somebody is running from behind him up to the corner, and they would overlap, and so just playing a little bit nervous, trying to send the ball in for for the quick score. Normally Chillicothe plays a very possession, quick passing sort of a game. Not doing quite as much of that tonight. I don't know if that's that they've been coached to have a few more big kicks tonight because of the rain. I do know we're playing a little more possession than LeBlanc. LeBlanc looks like they're doing a lot of big kicks, but that is one thing that I've noticed. We do seem to be hustling, and sometimes maybe even hustling too much. That's some nervous play.
Well, on the fact that you just mentioned before, I really think LeBlanc is pushing Chillicothe off their game.
Yes.
They're coming in a lot faster.
Yes.
And they're a little more aggressive. I think if you see the number of fouls called against LeBlanc and the number of fouls called against Chillicothe, that would underlie that statement.
Yeah.
I honestly think that LeBlanc will slow down and wear out here.
I agree,
Yeah.
and I hope that Chillicothe doesn't. When I said too aggressive, it was an aggressive play on the part of Stephen Cooper, who chased a ball down that was just about to go out of the baseline, and he sent it back in. And I quite frankly don't even know who scored it, but I do know we got.
That's what we were going to ask you.
Yeah, we were.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I felt that the announcer, it was just difficult to hear. Here's the part where it's difficult to be biased. I thought I heard him say John Klein, but I don't know that for sure.
And we don't know. We were blocked out. I mean, there was a bunch of them down there at the net.
Right, but Doc is definitely correct. They are. There's a lot of fouling going on, a lot of trash talk going on. I was standing down on the track just before coming in here, and the ref has had to get up in the face of mostly their players tonight and ask them to quit doing what they're doing. And what I just heard was really, he said, if you want to keep trash talking, you're out of the game. If you want to talk to each other after the game. You don't need to talk to each other here during the game, because what you have to say is not good sportsmanship. So,
and I think that's what we heard, Doc, when we were talking, and the official was standing there, and you said, "Is he out of the game?" You were asking me, and of course we found out that he had to come and set. So that's exactly what he was. He'd already warned him once, right?
Yeah. Well, there's no way we can do a halftime talk without talking about the play of Trey Beatty.
oh yes,
Oh wow!
And the defensive line.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
he has made 4, I think, excellent saves, and then the defense have supported him all the way back.
Yes, absolutely. He has made excellent saves. And how about that save by Cal Totebush?
Yes.
He saw
Absolutely.
the play kind of getting out of hand. He saw that Trey had come out of the keeper box with a slick ball, that's kind of what happens. Things get a
And
little
Doc
out of
mentioned
control.
that, too.
And Cal was smart enough to loop around behind the keeper, and just as soon as that ball popped out of Trey's hands, there was Cal to do a slide to save the point, and that's awesome.
Well, no question. Excuse me,
No, you're
Brent, but
fine,
no
you're right.
question, you're right on. And Doc pointed that out, and that's why I'm glad that Dr. Roger Brick is here, the godfather of soccer, because he brings me in on all these highlights. But those were 2 great saves. This easily could have been a 2-1 game or a 1-1 game.
Yes, it really could have. So it was a great save, and Trey has had a ton of good saves tonight. So
Another outstanding player that I've noticed has been Brandon Murray. He has been all over that field.
Yes, you mentioned that, too.
And his free kicks going with the wind have been a little long. I think that's going to change in the second half, and they're going to drop in right where they're supposed to drop.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
And the ball, in addition to the wind at the back, the ball's also skipping when it hits the field, and putting a lot of distance on that ball.
And I hope Coach C's down there saying, boys, shoot it low and hard.
Low
You
and
can't,
hard.
you can't miss too low.
Hey,
That's
guys,
right.
we want to come back here, but we want to pause 60 seconds back to the station at Chillicothe for these fine messages from our sponsors, and we'll be back in 60 seconds here at Dave Goodwin Field. Live at Dave Goodwin Field at Camet. And again, I want to thank Trenton Coca-Cola, Golden Corral, Hutchison Insurance, BTC Bank, Toda Bush Farms, Mel Gregg, Grand River Insurance, Woody's Automotive Group, Clark's Furniture, Citizens Bank and Trust, Lee Beatty Construction, Chillicothe Booster Club, Constitution Tribune, Woody's Outdoor Power and Equipment, and Investors National Bank. Back to you guys.
Well, an important thing, now I'm going to be leaving here again. I'm going to go ahead and lose the rest of my voice. But an important thing to note is Chillicothe is still very, very fired up, and I hope they can compose themselves. I hope they start playing a little more of their game and think, and not allow LeBlond to knock them off of their game. I do agree with Doc that I think LeBlond is playing hard enough that I think they're going to wear out. Chillicothe is going to get their composure. They're going to come back, and they're going to have a really, really good second half, and they're going to prove who the better team this year is. That's what I think is going to happen, and of course that's what I hope is going to happen.
Well, I think LeBlond has been chasing in the first half quite a little bit,
Yes.
and there's a lot of wasted efforts and runs. So we'll see what happens here.
I would agree. LeBlond is getting ready to kick off at center field. Typically, they kick it backward first.
Actually, the ball has to go forward first.
We'll say, yeah, that's right. One touches it, then somebody kicks it backward.
Yes. The ball, by rule, it has to roll
Yes.
26 inches, but that's
Right.
kind of what the circumference of the ball.
Yeah, how they get away with it is what
Yeah.
they just did, which is one player touches it, the second player kicks it backward, and therefore it wasn't considered a backward kick. So I am going to go ahead and leave now. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. I'll be back for the post game, and I also want to thank Dr. Brick and Mayor Chuck Haney for doing this for the kids. It's great to hear soccer aired on the radio, and please extend to the Wave Ian Lapine, Clay Jensen, your thanks when you see them, and also Jim Bly for coming up here and filming this and setting us up. It would be impossible for us to do this without Jim taking care of us here. So
That's exactly right, because Doc and I couldn't hook up a mic if we had to.
so you guys enjoy your second
I'm
half,
kidding.
and I'm going to go enjoy mine.
All right. Thank you very much for stopping by the booth. We'll send you a check in the mail. All right. Back here at Dave Goodwin Field, and
Before we get too deep in the second half, I want to send a shout out to Dee Carmichael in Chillicothe, Missouri, who happens to be Trey Beatty's aunt, and she promised me that she was going to be watching this game tonight.
well, did she get a good look at you a while ago at halftime?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, let's hope that she is, because Jim Bly's got that camera on the field, and that's where it belongs, not on us. Let's go down here and get a point, huh?
That'd be wonderful here.
And I hope you guys are right. You noticed that little, and they were doing a lot of chasing. They do wear a little bit slick here in the final 38 minutes.
Well, the thing when you start looking at players and you see when they're breaking the action, they're bending over and their
Yeah.
hands on their knees, hands on their hips.
Happens in football and basketball all the time, Doc. But you do have to you have to be in good shape. There's a lot of running, a lot of exercise here.
Well,
I think it went out of bounds. Yeah, it did.
an
All
average
along.
professional soccer player runs about 7 miles a game.
Wait, is that right? Wow. I never would have guessed that much.
And when you think about it, there's no timeouts here. It's continuous,
Yep.
running back and forth.
Unless they do stop it on an injury, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and free kicks, but essentially it goes the same. Whereas in football, you may have 20 seconds of activity, and then
Wow.
and then
I didn't like that.
10, 15 seconds or 30 seconds of rest.
I was blocked with the corner of the press box, and I was looking from here to here, and I didn't like that.
Well, Trey had the goal covered very well.
Well, and see, I was blocked out from seeing him, so very good. Coming to you live from Dave Goodwin Field, the flag goes up. What do we got, Doc?
I believe just a throw in from Chillicothe from our defensive end. And again, that is what happens when you throw it down the line. The offense, the LeBlond player kicked it back out, and it just moved it 20 yards down the field.
Yeah. in that case, what's going on right now isn't all that bad. We had numbers there for a minute.
And soccer is a game of numbers. You always want to try to have more attacking players than they have defensive players, and that's the key of the midfield, that they have to transition both directions.
And I don't think it's made any difference, but really that the rain's still coming down, but it's lit up from what it was. Well, I say that, and then I look up at the lights. No, I guess it hasn't. I guess it's going to continue on throughout the night. But it hasn't really affected play, has it, Doc?
Other than a slick ball.
I mean, yeah, the slick ball, and there's been a couple of guys skid. And that's what's a little scary with the slick ball, too, right? And there's one that's, I thought was heading out of bounds, but it was a foot race. And back over right in the center.
And see, now there was a ball that a slick ball made a difference.
And it went right to the right instead of straight to the net, didn't it?
Yeah, he would.
It like it was spinning, didn't it?
That would have been a good shot.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And it went right off of his foot and skidded out of bounds. So there's where some of this can come into play here. And we're a long ways, folks. We've got 35 minutes left. That's a lifetime. And where I said earlier in the, well, at first after you and I made the remark, a lot of the action was happening at our end of the field. We haven't been down at that end much, Doc.
Well, not yet. Here, we've had 2 scoring runs in the second half so far, but LeBlanc must have had a pretty good talk to by the coach.
I think he caught a knee right there. That was a pretty good move. And that's what happened, wasn't it?
I think so. Knee kicked.
Isn't that Allen?
No, it's John Klein.
Or John, yeah. I think he caught it just right in here, above the knee. See where he's holding? On his, he may, I don't know if he's coming out or not.
No, he's pretty tough too here.
Oh, that was a good move. Yeah, he's right back and going as fast as he ever was. Boy, that was pretty shifty right there by LeBlanc. Oh, wow.
We got fortunate.
Yes, we did.
That's that skiddy, slippery ball here.
Yep, we sure did. Because they were
it was offside call, though.
Okay. Yeah, they had numbers and had 2 of them right in front of the net. I thought they stopped playing. I guess they did.
He did.
Okay.
Must have been a little push or shove.
Yeah, he went over there and hollered something, but I thought he stopped play. And you're right, John Klein's just like, boom. And, wow, that's a pretty good shot right there.
Another player that I enjoy watching is number 13, Cal Totebush. He's probably the smallest player on the field, but he is sharp. He knows where to go and what to do. I think he has 4 goals so far this season and then 10 assists, which is excellent. And like I say, he saved a goal on that first half.
He's the right midfielder. So I was looking for the correct position for him. And yeah, he is one of the smaller guys out there, isn't he? But tough. You know, that's a nice thing, unless you're that 6'7" goalie from St. Paul's Lutheran. You don't have to be big, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, not sure where the interruption came from there, but it's not us. But here we go, back to action now. Chillicothe was going back to the south end. They lead it 1-0 with 31:46 remaining here in the second half. That ball is out of bounds over on the east side.
Well, we can hear the fans getting into it now here.
Yep. Well, I mean, as that clock ticks away, I think we're going to hear more noise, don't you? Well, I don't think they probably have a chance of breaking the Desco record with Arrowhead, but who knows?
During halftime, our cameraman told us that he's getting to go to Sporting game tomorrow night on the field.
He's going to be there, and I think the weather's going to be a little bit better than it is right now tonight.
Well, they're in a must-win situation. They lost 2-1, and it's a home and away, so they have to.
And then now they have to win like 42, don't they?
Well, they have to at least win 1-0 to take it into overtime.
LeBlanc's down under this tent, but there's not many there. There's a throw-in by LeBlanc and then back out of bounds, and I was blocked out. I couldn't see who knocked it out. Apparently Chillicothe, because LeBlanc's going to get to toss it in again. And again, you got a better view of it, Doc.
Didn't quite see that foul, though.
Well, I couldn't either. I heard the whistle, but I couldn't. I was blocked out by the corner of the press box here. Wow.
A big ball in, and one of their players took out our goalkeeper.
You seriously slid it to our keeper and nothing is called?
Now, isn't that... What's the ruling there?
Well, it's ruled as a corner kick, but two of the players ran right into Trey Beatty. So
it looks like dang. Oh, I'm not sure. Now that was off of a LeBlanc player, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just didn't bring it back into the on frame.
The wrong way.
Yep, just too far.
And out of bounds. Well, they had a pretty good run going up to midfield. But yeah, I looked again at that, and off of his head and to the right of the net. We'll take anything, though, right?
We'll take every miss that they can give us here.
You bet.
LeBlanc's got a little more composed on the ball. They haven't been quite rushing it quite as much. And then
they may have talked about that at halftime, and I've noticed that.
That may have been a wet ball error there. The player had the right idea to the right player, but the performance wasn't very good. I see now there our clearance wasn't near as good as it should have been, and Trey just lets that go harmlessly for a goal kick out.
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't know about those those colorful shoes or not. Maybe I'm the old-fashioned guy, Doc. There's a couple of pairs of them out there.
You can't believe the business in selling soccer shoes.
Oh, wow. So,
it's a throw from Chillicothe's throw.
Yep.
Okay.
On the far side, the west side here, just to the right of the press box. Our view is blocked a little bit as the rain continues to come down here at Dave Goodwin Field. And a whistle. I didn't see.
Ooh, I wonder if the coach said something here.
He's coming up with the...
It looks like he's going to warn the Chillicothe bench.
He went to the sidelines.
They're checking on the turf for some reason. I can't tell why, though.
Oh.
Okay, well, he backed off now. I don't know. He's pointing the official to the south. Is that what it is, Doc?
That's what they said, yeah, turf problem there.
Well, and you mentioned earlier, oh, wow.
Oh, that was close to their own goal.
Yes, it was.
The goalkeeper had to be alert and defend his own player's header back into the goal. The general rule of thumb on offensive header, you head it down, and on a defensive header, you head it up.
Wow.
Excellent.
That was
excellent
a great save.
stop, yes.
Lee Beatty again went over to the corner. The inside. Little race going on. Oh, I wanted to get across the field. Who was that strolling down the right sideline?
That was Brandon May coming clear from his defender position.
And he hustles back down there.
They had crossing diagonal runs, and
And there you mentioned Cal Totebush, and he was right alongside 21. That even makes him look smaller, doesn't
Yes.
it? It's not how big the package, is it?
it's not how big the dog is in the fight, it's how much fight's in the dog.
There you go. And a whistle and a substitution. Well, and you were talking about that they replaced this turf 2 years ago, that they had some issues after they put it
I don't know
down.
whether they replaced the turf. They had to regrade the underneath.
Oh, okay. Didn't lay it down right to start with, then, is what you're saying, maybe.
When my girls played on it, it was just pretty rough and bouncy.
That one's out of bounds down at the northeast corner of Dave Goodwin Field at the LeBlond end of the field.
Well, that was a good, strong throw in, too, from their player.
Good move there. Nobody there but LeBlond folks on that one.
Chillicothe's getting a little more aggressive in that midfield. They're
Yes.
a little closer to where they're supposed to be.
I just,
Handball.
oh my. Another
Another save by Trey
Yeah.
Beatty.
Yeah, that's about 4, isn't it? I think.
Well, that's maybe 4 the second half, I think.
Well, you're probably right. Yeah, that's right, because he had 2 big ones in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah.
But again, I mentioned this makes me nervous. Doc playing all of this action down here on the left side of the field near the LeBlond net.
As long as it's between the 30s, we don't mind. Yeah.
There you go. Well, and boy, you can really, he just caught that. Good job. It wasn't going to go anywhere. It was winding off to the left.
Actually, it was a cross in, and he had a player that was coming in to put a header on the cross. It was actually closer to a score than what you think, Jeff.
Well, and I'm sure that you're right. I thought that he just grabbed it and it wasn't close, but you've made a good point. Now there's maybe a foul. No.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just a foul. No card.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That was a little close, Doc.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, again, a long ways to go. 23 minutes and 19 seconds left here in the second half. And it's a 1-0 lead for Chillicothe. In district soccer, the winner meets St. Pius on Thursday night here at Dave Goodwin Field. And I know that Dr. Roger Brick will be back here, and Brent Klein, and among others. So I'll have to be checking it out on my phone. Got to watch my grandson play basketball,
Oh, yeah.
Now, what did he call, Doc? He was
Just a push foul.
okay. I saw him lift his right leg, and
I'm just curious to see the number count on fouls.
well, LeBlond would have to lead it without question. Boy, that almost didn't, that ball. Well, they're right. It's out of bounds.
Collectively, this team has maybe the best first touch of any team that we've ever had on Chillicothe's men's side.
Well, that's a good note.
Well, and
Kind of a sidebar.
That's because they have played soccer since they've been 4 years older. Most of them have. See, hey, that's a yellow
Yeah.
card. Yellow card. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's a mandatory cooling off. He has to go off the side with the substitution.
and I'll tell you again, you bring up this point about that's 2 yellow cards, right?
That's the first yellow card.
Okay, I was thinking we had one in the first half, but we had a couple of warnings, and we
Verbal
had
warnings, yes.
several penalties, or fouls.
But that player came in from behind and swept his legs right out from underneath him. That, in some circles, could have been a red card.
I know they didn't like it, as we could tell coming from the sideline over here, but
I'm getting a thumbs up from the referee in residence here, and I think that he agrees with me here.
all right.
But again, I want to reiterate how tough it is to ref on the field. It's a lot easier to do it from up here.
It's always easier to officiate from the stands of the press box. Football, basketball, soccer, baseball, you name it. But you know, it's nice to have an in-house official, see? The NFL does that now, so that's a good thing.
If we just had instant replay on this,
Yeah, we need to have Jim Bly work on that from WHB TV. You know, that used to be the world's happiest broadcasters. That was back before you were a young guy then, Jim, a kid.
but their call numbers were 710
Yep,
instead of 810.
world's happiest broadcasters.
It was the station I listened to when I was a teenager.
I'll guarantee you, that was what they all listened to.
Johnny Dolan.
Yep, and still around.
Hey, look at all these old guys shaking their heads. Yeah.
They've never heard of those folks. What do we got here? We had 2 guys go sprawling. Oh, he's talking to there's another little chat. You know what? And we're down to 1939 and another chat on the field.
In official channels, we call that a quiet word.
And ball out of bounds and on the east side. Throw in by Chillicothe. Boy, that would have been nice to take that on down.
But see, just a wet ball kind of
Yep,
makes it slip and slide.
Yep, it squibs off. It really does. That was a pretty fair move right there.
Well, he came over the top, and that was a foul. It's a dangerous maneuver for the player coming over the top.
Wow.
He had attempt on a bicycle kick, but that was interesting.
And out of bounds. So
Out of bounds for a goal kick. Again, play slows down because we only have one ball person on either side.
yeah, I was just getting ready to mention that again, and then seeing this guy run and get the ball. Well, I think maybe the rain's let up.
A little bit,
just,
yeah.
Just a kind of a light little drizzle right now.
We can almost see the crowd on the other side.
Yes, we can. And we're back down to the good guys' end. Hopefully something good can come out of this.
It's a throw in for Chillicothe. And then they
That's McKitty right here. He's got the gloves on.
27, 20. Yeah.
And the other way. Gotta hustle back, Brett. Number 9.
Didn't stay down there long, though.
Yeah, Allen's kind of giving as good as he's getting, I guess. We got the ball down there, and Cooper's taking it again.
Oh,
So close. So close.
Wow.
That was a nice play. A dummy move through the middle, and then the.
And boy, he's that close to putting that in the net.
When you say a dummy move, that means they pretend like they're going to kick it and let the ball come through, and then I think it was Brandon Murray on the far side. I couldn't see.
Yeah, that's one of those could have been, should have been. That was Derek Hussey.
12.
Yeah.
Number 12. Okay. Yeah. He's the third leading scorer on this team with 13 goals and 9 assists.
Well, again, I bring back the point that Coach Cunningham said both in his pregame interview and last week's radio show on the Wave at 8 a.m. on the Monday morning is that defensively we want to keep the ball out of the middle and force our opponents to the outside of the field. And there's been a lot of play on the outside.
In soccer, there traditionally is. Normally you have a player running up the wing. A right-footed player will go up the right side, a left-footed player will go up the left side, and they can keep the ball under control as they dribble. And corner kick on our end. And a low corner in.
Get in
bounce
there.
Around in the box.
Yeah.
Close.
Yes.
Good play back by Trent Moore. Chested it back to Alan Klein. And it's a throw for LeBlanc.
And out of bounds, yep. Substitution for the Blonde. Time continues to tick away. 15:23 remains. Chillicothe leads the Blonde 1-0. The goal coming with 16:23 remaining in the first half. We had one with a stocking cap on and one with a pair of gloves on. So
a lot of times your hands get really cold because your core temperature tries to stay up. Oh yeah, Brandon's got it down on that south end against the wind a little bit. He dropped it in really well there. Ooh. Yeah. That was okay. Foul on Stephen Cooper. He just good aggressive play coming in. It's 50-50 ball, but he kind of pushed a little bit.
Well, down this.
And a nice steal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of bounds. And I'm not sure who. I guess they kicked it out, so it's going to be ours.
Yeah.
Right about midfield. And again, that was pretty good between that trio. Back and forth.
A lot of times, if you notice on a throw-in, it'll go to the closest player, and they will just automatically kick it back, and the person throwing the ball will step in, and then because they have the view toward the field.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Now here we are down the far east sideline.
But LeBlanc is double teaming all those players. Okay, he's stopping time. Here's going to be a yellow card. Yeah.
Yep.
They both get cards?
Yeah.
That was a yellow card.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were asking if they both got yellow. That's the third. Well,
I don't know what the
play doesn't start till he kicks the ball, right?
6 minutes.
Number 6.
Oh,
It just came off.
yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't see the number, but
Yeah.
whoever that is for LeBlanc.
He's that small, fast player. Let's see, who is he?
There comes the substitute.
Carson
Who's gonna
Sadler.
Tell him. And
3.
well, I think it was just asking the question. A pretty good conversation between official and coach. So we'll get situated here and clock will start. And there it goes.
They're,
And up and over.
on the free kicks, the ball's been coming in pretty low. They haven't been lofting it in very high. It's more of a driven ball.
And
Yeah, it's heavier.
yeah, and that one just was almost like a field goal where it went.
Now, of course, back when I played, they had the leather ball, and it really got heavy.
I would think.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Get the ball, get the ball.
There was two missed kicks, 3 missed kicks from just a wet ball.
Yeah, I thought he was really heading down the road. It's going to be LeBlanc.
Blonde's throw.
Yeah.
The AR called that. I don't know whether the center referee saw it, but he honored it. Oh, he's saying a foul on John Klein, number 7. And I thought I did see some hands come out to the back.
Oh, see again, he slipped and tried to kick that ball.
When you look at the balance that Cal Totebush has, he doesn't let those bigger players bounce him off his
Not
the
at
center.
all. Not at all. Stephen Cooper's going clear down there. Right.
It's a free
Right
kick
to him.
opportunity and handled very well by Trey Beatty.
Right to him. Just like catching a pop-up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was he on his back?
Yep, and pushed really hard, and the referee was 3 foot away.
Yeah, 10 all over
Yeah.
all over his back. Oh, that was a good
Oh, that
save
was
by
a
LeBlanc.
nice shot by Stephen Cooper and a good block by the
Wow.
goalkeeper.
And out of bounds.
But Cooper it's corner kick now, but Cooper was pretty composed on that. He kind of took his time and just kind of misplaced it.
Well, again, we certainly want to thank you for tuning in here to 105.9 and remind you that Chillicothe returns on Thursday night to play St. Pius. The Wave Radio will be here. And game time is 6 o'clock, if I remember right, and I'll check that on the bracket to be sure, but I think I'm right. 6 o'clock on Thursday. From Dave Goodwin Field in Cameron, it's Chillicothe 1, LeBlanc nothing, and we're about ready to dip under the 10-minute mark.
I know it's unlucky to kind of look ahead, but the winner of District 16 plays the winner of District 15.
That's
tonight-
correct.
Tonight, Pembroke Hill is playing Alta Vista, and Cristo Rey is playing Lincoln.
Well, I bet you Crystal Ray's a winner. What do you want to bet?
Well, Cristo Rey, another goal.
Right there. That was big. 9:39.
Stephen Cooper.
Yeah, 9:39. Boy, I mean, it was on its way and in there. 9:39, second half.
A 2-0 lead is very dangerous, though. People kind of get complacent about it. And also, the thing that happens after a goal is sometimes the scoring team lets down. A lot of goals are scored within 3 or 4 minutes of one being.
Let's hope that does not happen. And you brought up a very good point, and here they come back real quickly. So, I just don't think Chillicothe will fold up, Doc.
Hey, nice play, a nice high ball in. Yeah, they're going to call him for a handball, though. Yeah, that was a good call.
And you were talking about the officiating and officials in soccer and what, but soccer is just taking a hold here in the last few years, and there's going to be more and more officials. It's not an easy thing to call.
What do you mean, Chuck? Soccer is the #1 sport in the world.
Well, I'm talking, but I'm talking about, they were talking about officials at the high school level, and it's hard to go out and find them, and you got to go here, there, and yonder, and of course it's like basketball. They ran all the good officials out.
Well, and this is happening in every sport. Sometimes the parents and the spectators that, and it starts at a young level. I mean, I was responsible for assigning referees in our Green Hills soccer league, and we had to make specific rules so that the parents wouldn't jump and yell at a 11-year-old kid.
And isn't that the truth? An 11-year-old kid. That's a good plan, an excellent plan.
And what was interesting is those kids would have 16 hours of training and have to pass a test, and I know that they knew a lot more about the game than the parents did.
Well, time out here for a substitution as the clock goes under 8 minutes.
Time is not stopped. It's just they're on a goal kick, and they're bringing the sub in.
Thank you.
Yeah, it continues to run, and it's down at 7:39 now, and LeBron taking a shot at it, and
that was saved by the goalkeeper's best friend. We call it the woodwork.
Yes,
off the top bar,
and to the left side of the net, the west side of and at the north end of the stadium.
There's kind of a poor clearance out on the last goal kick. They're getting a little leg tired here.
Well, and I don't know how much different it is, but we've seen some guys slip and slide, but you still run about the same distance, do you not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, dry or wet. So, but, hats off to...
all right, go kick out.
To Beatty tonight. I mean, he's just played awesome. In fact, the whole team has. You pointed out all of the people that have had roles here tonight besides Trey, Trent Moore, and Ulysses, and Brandon Murray, and Cal Totebush, Nate McKinney,
This is
Clark.
just truly a team effort on this team, and my hats are off to them.
Alan Klein, Derek Hussey, John Klein, and Stephen Cooper. Yeah, and to think that two of those guys are out for soccer for the first time, and one of them being a senior and doing a good job. Here we go back down to the end again, the south end.
Did he reach outside the penalty box?
I'm not.
Well, I'm just looking at the corner of the D, and it looks to me like he was out. Jim, could we have an instant replay on that?
Well, apparently not. If he was, they didn't see it and they didn't call it. That's takes care of that, right?
Well, actually,
limping.
Yeah, Doc, we can.
Yeah. One of the lines in the referee's rule book is, in the referee's opinion.
Yes, in the referee's opinion. And that's what matters. Oh, wow.
Well, actually, that's good. That was a LeBlanc header, and he didn't get it turned far enough.
They've had a couple of incidents down there, Doc, where they were in a whisker of getting a goal, and it was their own fault that they didn't. One went off of the head, the shoulder, Back down there again.
Oh, that was a wonderful play by
Wow.
who's Brandon Murray and Trey Totebush, and Trey Beatty.
Well, mark that one down, will you, at 4:37, because that was pretty important in a 2-0 game. Chillicothe leads it with 4:27 remaining here at Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. Wanting to head to the finals, and right now it's about 4 minutes and 15 seconds away if they can hold on to meet St. Pius for the district title at 6 o'clock on Thursday night. And we hope that if you can't be here, you'll join us on Wave TV, 1059thewave.com or 105.9 The Wave in Chillicothe and Wheeling. Pick us up. I'm blinded out here on the corner, Doc.
Looks like a throw from Chillicothe. I was going to tell you, Chuck, we divide the field into thirds. We have a defensive third, a middle third, and an attacking third. And now the rain's picking back up again.
Well, let it rain, Doc. It hasn't affected Chillicothe yet, right? What's this?
That was an excellent defensive play by Ulysses Ross and a fine display of sportsmanship with the LeBlanc player picking him back up. And there's a corner kick for LeBlanc and a scoring opportunity. Low kick comes in, it's squibbed through the box, and I don't know whether the player touched it or not. Clear on the other side. And
yeah, clear over to the east side. Throw in, is it by Chillicothe? No, LeBlanc. No? Oh, wow.
And there's a goal off a free kick. And man, that was headed perfectly. Down and bounced clear to the top bar. Oh. In high school soccer, the clock stops on goals. So now, you guys, pick your heads up. We're still ahead in this game.
Yeah. And you just said it a while ago, too, didn't you? 2:35. Yeah, better go back to work in a hurry.
Well, sometimes the best defense is a strong offense, so if they can get the ball down there.
The worst thing would be to see them come back in the final 2:35 and put 2 goals in.
Well, just take the time now. And just take as much time off the clock as you can. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left.
Went out of bounds by LeBlanc. Yeah, let's get it back down here. Oh, that did you see how that stayed inside?
Well, yeah.
Wow.
And that's a natural kick of a right-footed player. It has a spin. It will spin. Actually, they're a curve, just like a curve ball in soccer. Oh, good job, Ulysses. Okay, here we go. Let's get some players up there.
Just keep it down here. That's right.
And he assessed that you only had...
Oh, what's that?
Well, actually, that was a pretty good tackle.
Uh-oh. Well, we're down to, this is going to be a nail biter, Doc. 43 seconds.
Yeah, that's
call the kick too high.
No, he handball.
Dang, don't let down, guys.
Take your time, Trey. Take your time.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah. we're down to, they're going to, it doesn't take long. That's the thing about it. Did somebody call time?
Yeah, that was an intentional kick out of bounds. I'm sure that he's going to stop the clock.
He did, to 7 seconds. 2-1. LeBron gets that goal with 2:35 after Chillicothe scored in the first half. 16:23 and 9:39 mark of the second half to lead it 2-0. And it's a good thing now, Doc. You remember what you said? Sometimes you don't want to go to sleep. You get up 2-0. You don't want to relax.
Well, this LeBron's a good team. They were going to come back regardless. Let's just get the ball cleared out and go.
Yeah, still the game. There they go. And Chillicothe is going to the district championship, folks. That's right. They're going to meet St. Pius. And look at Coach Cunningham out there. Coach D. 2-1. Chillicothe beats LeBron, and ironically, that's the same score as back on September 30th at Chillicothe. How about that?
It certainly is. It was a little drier game then, though. This is a hard-fought game, I tell you. It's going to be enjoyable to come Thursday night.
Chillicothe goes to 18-2-1, the best record in school history. They play St. Pius for the title at 6 o'clock here at Dave Goodwin Field at Cameron, Missouri. And Jim Bly and the WHB team, 105.9thewave.com TV and 105.9 The Wave Radio will be here to bring you all the action. And Dr. Roger Brick will be back also along with Jim Bly, Brent Klein, and others. So again, before we do a little wrap up here, and I think Brent's going to join us too, we want to thank our sponsors, Trenton Coca-Cola, Hutchison Company Insurance, Golden Corral, BTC Bank, Toda Bush Farms, Mel Gregg Insurance, Grand River Insurance, Woody's Automotive Group, Clark's Furniture, Citizens Bank and Trust, Chillicothe Booster Club, Constitution Tribune, Woody's Outdoor Power and Equipment, Investors National Bank, and Lee Beatty Construction. The fine sponsors, and we're going to pause 60 seconds to hear a word from our sponsor for a couple of them. Then we'll be back to do a little post-game talk here at an exciting Dave Goodwin Field in Cameron, Missouri, where Chillicothe has advanced to the finals with an identical 2-1 victory over St. Joseph Le-Bon. Back in 60 seconds.
a lot of rough play, primarily in midfield, and as we talked about earlier, that's not a real dangerous place for a team to commit those fouls. So they tend to commit them quite a ways away from the opponent's scoring goal. And so there was a lot of midfield fouls, a lot of late slide tackles from the rear. But I'll tell you, those Hornets, they played physical and they hung in there. It was I felt like it was by the hair of our chinny chin that we won that game.
But Listen, LeBron is a good team.
He's a good team.
There's no doubt about it. But
It turned out that way.
But what really made the difference on the end was the team defending on the back
Yes,
four.
yes.
Because when one would miss it, somebody else
was
would
looping behind.
looping behind, and then the midfield was. And my gosh, you better buy them a chocolate malt on the way home.
Stop somewhere, right? But you know, we talked about the fact that this could be a repeat of the first game in a low-scoring game, and you know, you said, well, sometimes Dr. Brick, that occurs, and sometimes you know, it just gets blown wide open. But that was not the case tonight, and you guys are right on with your comments about how it went. I was all excited when we went up 2-0, and Dr. Brick quickly reminded me what can happen, and it did.
Yes, I'll tell you, I want to point out that, you know, Dr. Brick talked about the midfield. You know, that 2-0 started with a tremendous field switch by Dylan Clark. You know, he got the ball, first touch, hit that ball off his foot on a tremendous field switch. The ball landed up on somewhere around the 20-yard line. The ball was brought back into Stephen Cooper by, I believe it was John, and, you know, Cooper just buried it in the back of the net. But that opportunity was created by really Dylan Clark, who saw opportunity. He was reading the field really well, and even though we traditionally like short, quick passes, that was one time where he knew what he needed to do, and he put the ball right where it needed to go.
Well, soccer's a game of creativity, and you don't want to do the same thing all the time.
Can't do the
so
same thing all the time.
By mixing that up, it keeps everybody off balance.
Yes.
And I was just so impressed with this team tonight.
And you know, guys, I want to continue to point out the support here tonight from the red and black just gives you an indication of how soccer is growing, how much it is growing, and particularly in the last 2 years. What is it? They won 17 last year. They won 18 this year. That's 35 victories in 2 years. And before we go to break and come back for our final parting words,
I think we've got a couple of guys here from the Hornets team who are coming in for a real quick interview. So if you want to do that, that's fine. Or if you want to go to them, that's
all right. I'll tell you, we'll do that as soon as we I get this one PSA in, and we go to break for 60 seconds to pay respect to all of our fine sponsors. Role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are winners and are also vital to preserving our fine sports tradition. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This message was brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and the Wave Radio 105.9 in Chillicothe. We'll take a 60-second time out and back to talk to some happy soccer guys from Chillicothe High. Stay with us. How you doing, guys? Congratulations.
Thank you.
A little soaked. Who all have I got? Let me tell me real quick, and I'll write. here live at Dave Goodwin Field at Capital, Missouri, where the Chillicothe High School soccer team is victorious 2-1 after taking a 2-0 lead late in the second half. 9:39, Steve Cooper got the goal. Who are we going to talk to first?
Alan Klein.
Alan Klein, you know, we talked up here in the booth about the togetherness and the chemistry of the team, and you guys just seem to, in many parts of the match tonight, seem to out-hustle LeBlanc, and you always were, they didn't want you to be. Am I right?
Yeah. You know, we all kind of understand each other, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we work to that, and the entire game we're just talking to each other, you know, win every single ball, and you know, we don't back down, and it proves good. So
you guys played very unselfish ball tonight, I might say, and that's the reason that the team is doing so well. You guys just played tremendous unselfish ball, hustled, dominated. You played like you were meant to win, and that's awesome. And Chuck, by the way, I wanted to point out that the common theme between these guys here is that they are the seniors of the team. These are the seniors of the team.
Well, and we've had them all on the show, and you know, the senior leadership and Trent Moore being one of those that out for soccer for the first year. What an exciting time, Trent, for you as we come over to you as a defender and a senior out for the first time, and I just think this is a tremendous thrill going to the district championship.
It is. It's so awesome. It's great to come in here and just from the very get-go, what an amazing atmosphere. These teammates, we are truly a family, and without them, I don't know how well I'd be playing, but they pick me up a lot, and we do a good job of picking each other up all the time, and without them, I couldn't do anything.
Well, Ulysses Rojas, another one of the seniors, is a defender standing right here behind me, and you know, everybody, it seemed like, on the team had some big moments tonight, and you had a couple of them.
Definitely, you gotta step up your game when it comes to LeBlanc. You know, they have a lot of very skilled players, and if you're not at the top of your game, you're gonna get beat.
That's very true. The LeBlanc team played a very good game tonight. There was a couple of times they played very well. When I saw some really good play, I actually yelled for them. I thought, well, that was worthy of a cheer from the opponent. So. Thank you, Ulysses.
Yeah, and congratulations again to you. And I got to ask you guys before I come over to Steve Cooper to wrap up the senior interviews here, who got the first goal? We were blocked out for you all tonight.
John Klein.
I know that.
With an assist by Stephen Cooper, as we pointed out earlier. Chuck,
I know that, yeah.
Stephen hustled to get that ball before it went out of the baseline, and it looked destined to go out. And we talked early on in the broadcast about the speed that he has. And, man, when he gets his nose headed toward that ball, sometimes he just gets there when you don't expect him to. So he sent it back in across the middle, and that forward momentum of John Klein, that's how it's supposed to work.
Well, Stephen, let me tell you, that goal, I got excited when you got your goal with 9:39 to go in the second half. And, you know, I made a quick statement, and Dr. Roger Brick quickly corrected me and said, you know, yeah, it's a 2-0 lead, but that's a dangerous lead. It turned out to be that way. Thank goodness for your goal, my friend.
Yeah, it was great, but just the quick passes we had right before it to lead me to that was just great. We had a bunch of good one-touch passes, and the cross was just perfect, and it left the backside wide open for the goal, and I couldn't ask for better.
Well, congratulations to you and all of the rest of the Hornet soccer team. Tell Coach D and that head coach guy, what's his name?
Coach Cunningham.
Yeah, you tell Coach Cunningham and Coach D, congratulations to all of you. You're in the district championship, and go enjoy this one.
Hey. What I'd like to point out, you know, Chuck, you were giving Stephen credit for that goal there, and you noticed what he did. First thing he did is talked about the what set it up was the quick one-touch passing, and that's the one we talked about earlier, where Dylan Clark did a quick switch of fields, then it hit John, and John sent it up to Stephen, and kabam, done deal. And way to finish it off, Stephen. How did you feel about that one?
It felt amazing to get that goal in districts against LeBlanc is just great. It's just, I don't know.
Hard to describe, right? Well,
okay.
Are you hungry?
and we're going to let you go enjoy it. And good luck to you on Thursday night, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay. I just before I come back to the final words from Doc here and from Brent Klein, I want to say a big thank you. I want to send out to Trenton Coca-Cola, Golden Corral, Hutchison Insurance Company, BTC Bank, Toda Bush Farms, Mel Gregg, Grand River Insurance, Woody's Automotive Group, Clark's Furniture, Citizens Bank and Trust, the Lee Beatty Construction, Chillicothe Booster Club, the Constitution Tribune, Woody's Outdoor Power and Equipment, and Investors National Bank. We appreciate you. The Chillicothe High School soccer program appreciates you, and we'll be back with the same sponsors on Thursday night here at Dave Goodwin Field. Back to you guys for the final words.
Wow.
Hey, that's my word.
Yeah, Brent was going to use that.
It was a great game. I just hope that they can heal up a little bit. I know they've got some nicks and bruises, and the office will be open for them tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good point. My kids, and I know several have. I know Derek Hussey and Dylan Clark, and of course Alan plays hurt most of the time. Alan Klein, and John's been hurt several times, and those kids always know that they can call Doc, and he goes up there a lot of times at night after games and works on them and really keeps the team going. He's really a trainer of sorts, and that's pretty awesome to see. And the way they played, it's physical ball. There were several yellow cards, and yellow cards aren't handed out easily these days. Those yellow cards were because of some really, really hard collisions, a lot of times from the blind side when the player doesn't even see it coming. So they are literally taking the nesty plunge on the field, their body hitting that field, full force. And so, they got to have some work done, and Dr. Brick and Brick Chiropractic does a good job of keeping the guys healthy.
I just want to say, Brent, thank you so much for joining us in the pregame, postgame, and at halftime. You add so much to the broadcast. And Dr. Roger Brick, he came up to me and he said, "You ever didn't play with soccer?" I said, "No, Doc. Have you?" "No." I said, "Boy, it's going to be fun." But we did have fun.
Yes, we did.
And you know soccer, so you got to explain the things that happened, and I enjoyed it, my friend.
Well, good.
I never felt when the Hornets are on fire. Chuck, I didn't get to hear whether you all or whether Doc ever felt that we ever got right back on our game. To me, it felt like the second half was a really long second half. It felt like we weren't dominating in the second half. The things that we did right were we played tough, we played hard-nosed ball. The defenders, as Doc pointed out, were very tough and made the difference in the game. And of course, when you have midfielders like we do that are they just never die, and you got that striking force, we managed to put another goal in. But the fact is when Chillicothe is on their game, they are unbelievable. The way the ball moves around, the way it's passed, the way we control it and we possess it. The other team doesn't get to see the ball very much. And in that second half, that isn't really how we played. But we did manage to squeak by and win this one by the hair of our chinny chin chin. And just to give you an example, when we played Maryville the first time, I think we won by 1 point. When we played Maryville the second time, we were on that night. I don't know that I've seen us play much better than that. Ball was moving around. We were doing overlapping runs. Guys were moving off the ball. Defensive support was strong, one-touch movement, completely unselfish play, and we won 7-1 the second time. So I didn't see that team tonight. That's the team that it's going to take to continue forward.
Yeah, we hope to see that team Thursday night.
Of course, the rain can be an equalizer and other things too. But
well, and I'll borrow that mic just to say we'll be back on the air 5:45 Thursday night pregame, and we'll have an interview with Coach Cunningham, and then the action begins at 6 o'clock. Jim Bly, thanks for all of your work tonight, my friend.
Thank you very much, Mayor Chuck Haney, and we want to thank the staff out here at Cameron High School. Been very hospitable to us. Kevin Nichols, and nice dry accommodations. And also would like to tell the folks out there should have this game up archived by 10 o'clock tonight. You can go to the Waves website and watch it. Just click on the soccer button and enjoy it. And we will be bringing back another, hopefully, a great broadcast from here in Cameron, Missouri on Thursday night.
Yep. Well, everybody, I guess for Chuck Haney, and unless Doc has anything else to say, for Chuck Haney and Dr. Brick, this is Brent Klein, and it's been a great night. Thank you for listening to 105.9 The Wave. You can catch the game on 1059thewave.com, and we will see you Thursday night.